Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to our April 22nd regular meeting of the Board of Education. We have a busy and at maybe times a little confusing processes to follow tonight. Also, just want to make sure, unfortunately, the secretary to the board, the executive assistant to the board has lost her voice, so we'll try and make sure that she can be heard, and if not, I or somebody else will make sure to restate the name when we're doing roll call votes. So, roll call. Here.
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 Here. And we had a vacancy already on the board, which was Mr. Scott, and Dr. McNeil, we're not sure if she's going to be able to make it with us this evening. So if you'd all please stand and join me in our Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, welcome. The current board will conduct a few items at the beginning of our meeting. Then we will shift into a process that includes some swearing in, reconfiguration of the board officers, and then some additional action items. So with that, we will move on to Staff, Student, and Community Celebration, ZB Pride Award. Dr. Rodriguez.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, President Nordstrom, members of the Board of Education, and citizens, staff of Zion Benton Township. So today we take some time to honor those board members that serve the Board of Education for our district. As we understand, as we know, Mr. Scott resigned from the board a couple months ago, but he served the board along with Dr. McNeil with honor, with pride, the idea of service, the idea of working with us, guiding the superintendent, the administration, working with the board in making the best decisions for District 126. Was something that these two board members exemplified in their time. So as a result of that, we do have a token of appreciation for them on behalf of the board. So we will send this to Mr. Scott and Dr. McNeil in recognition for your dedicated service on the District 126 Board of Education. We express our appreciation for your dedication to the mission of District 126. Your commitment has made a lasting and positive impact in our school community. Presented by the Board of Education, April 22nd, 2025. So this will be sent via U.S. mail to the two board members that serve on our board, their last day being today. So, are provided for you so that you can see it. Mr. Scott is traveling, he's out of state, but he did send a communication to the school district that reads, thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. I highly appreciate the recognition of serving the Board of Education of Zion Benton District 126. I am humbled and honored to receive this plaque. This means a lot to me. I would like to thank the District 126 Board of Education for giving me the opportunity to learn and allowing me to give insight on the future of Newtek and Zion Benton High School. I am truly blessed to be able to serve and help the excellent staff of District 126. You will always have a positive memory with me, as it is very respected and appreciated in all the work you do to help our future leaders of tomorrow. To the Board of Education, I would like to wish you the best of skill in making the correct decisions for our youth as they as they further their education every year. Your knowledge, expertise, and integrity will never go unnoticed. You will always have my full support in all decisions being made for our youth in the future. Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez, for your guidance, knowledge, and professionalism that you displayed every day when working with the board, staff, students, and the community. Thank you, Marvin C. Scott. So with that, we conclude our CB Pride Awards. Right, principals?
Yes.
Yep. So that is our CB Pride Awards. We are very proud of Dr. McNeil, Mr. Scott. It was many hours of work, a great collaboration, and we're happy they serve our district, and we're happy that we're moving forward with the new elected board members that we were honored later on. So that concludes the City Pride Awards.
Okay, thank you. Here's our communications from staff, guests, and district residents. District 126 is committed to an equitable, respectful learning environment where bullying, harassment, racism, sexism, and hate speech have no place. Please partner with us in fostering a positive community. Now for public comment, we did not have anybody sign in to participate in public comment. I do generally pause to see if somebody either missed that or would like to take a moment. Okay, hearing none, thank you. We will move on. Next item is the conclusion of old business with the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda items as presented?
So move. Second.
Motion by Ms. Champagne, second by Ms. Stephen. Any questions or corrections? Hearing none, roll call please.
Stephen?
Aye.
Ms. Stephen?
Mr. Cook?
Aye.
Ms. Champagne?
Aye.
Mr. Benitez?
Aye.
Mr. Nordstrom?
Aye. Thank you. Okay. Bear with me here. Moving into territory that we only handle every couple of years, so I want to make sure I do this well and right. Okay. So it's time for us to canvass and report on the canvass of the votes from the April 1st election. During that election, there were 4 seats open and 4 people running for those seats. And there were also those are 4 four-year terms open and 4 people running. And there were 2 two-year terms and 2 people running. So everything kind of came together. And just so everybody knows, the certification from the county clerk has been received, and the names that were certified for the 4 four-year terms are myself, Jerry Nordstrom, Christopher Benitez, Kathy Champagne, and Pamela Joy Eidelberg. For the 2 two-year terms, there were 2 names certified, and those are current board member Vincent Cook and Blake Allen Fortenberry. So that being the case, we are in a position to move on to swear in all the board members who are now coming either new or renewing their membership on the board. I will ask the current secretary of the board, Ms. Stephen, to take over the next few minutes and help swear all of us in.
So please stand and join me in the oath office for District 126 Board of Education. So I need everyone that's been sworn in to state your name and then read after me. I do solemnly affirm that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of members of the Board of Education of Zion Benton High School, District 126.
I, Jerry Nordstrom, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of member of the Board of Education of Zion Benton High School, District 126.
In accordance with the Constitution and the state of United States, the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
In accordance with the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the laws of the state.
and the laws of the state of Illinois to the best of my ability.
and the laws of the state of Illinois to the best of my ability.
I further affirm that I shall respect the taxpayers' interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district assets.
I further affirm that I shall respect taxpayer interests by serving as a faithful protector of the school district's assets.
I shall encourage, respect the freedom expressed of opportunities by my fellow board members and others who seek a hearing before the board while respecting the privacy of students and employees.
I shall encourage and respect the free expression of opinion by my fellow board members and others who seek a hearing before the board while respecting the privacy of students and employees.
I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual and that decisions can be made only by the minority votes. A public board meeting.
I shall recognize that a board member has no legal authority as an individual and that decisions can be made only by a majority vote of a public board meeting.
And I shall abide by minority decisions of boards while retaining the right to seek changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels.
I shall abide by the majority decisions of the board while retaining the right to seek changes in such decisions through ethical and constructive channels.
Welcome to District 126. We're thrilled to have you on the board, excited to see the contributions you'll make. Congratulations. Our new board members would please go ahead and come up and join us. And, yep. Either way. All right. Next item, we actually then adjourned from the former board structure and reconvened with our new board structure. So the board has no further business. Therefore, a motion for adjournment sine die is needed.
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Champagne, second by Mr. Benitez. Any questions? Roll call, please. Mr. Cook?
Aye. Are here.
Mr. Benitez, I'm sorry, Ms. Stephen?
Aye.
Mr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Champagne? Mr. Fortenberry?
Aye.
And Ms. Eidelberg?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. At this time, the retiring board members had left the table because we didn't have any board members needing to leave the table, and the new board members have already joined us. Now we go into a period where there is an interim appointment for a president to help facilitate the selection of officers. So I need a motion to appoint a president pro tem to facilitate the next steps of our meeting. So we need to have a motion that says, I move to appoint and then to serve as president pro tem for the next part of the meeting. Somebody needs to nominate a president pro tem. So the motion would be, I move to appoint and then insert a name as president pro tem.
I move to appoint myself as president pro tem.
Okay. Is there anybody else to be served as president pro tem? Is there anybody else?
I move for Christopher Benitez.
To be president pro tem?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Okay. I will be feeling my way through this. Yeah, we've not encountered this before, so we will, all those in favor of, as the first nomination was Ms. Champagne, all those in favor of Ms. Champagne serving as president pro tem? Again, this is before we actually run the selection of president, vice president, and secretary for the newly convened board. So all those in favor of Ms. Champagne being president pro tem, please raise your hand or signify with. Okay, we have 4, 5. Mr. Fortenberry, Mr. Cook, myself, Ms. Champagne, and Ms. Eidelberg. As formality, all those in favor of Mr. Benitez as president pro tem, please raise your hands. Ms. Stephen and Mr. Benitez. Okay. Ms. Champagne, you will serve as president pro tem for facilitating the next steps of our meeting.
All right. The next step is to appoint a board secretary pro tem. Do I have a motion to appoint a board secretary pro tem?
I'll nominate Mr. Benitez as secretary pro tem.
Are there any other nominations?
I nominate myself, Patricia Stevens.
Okay, Patricia Stevens is nominated as secretary pro tem. Are there any other nominations? Any other nominations? I see none. I'm going to call for a vote. Everyone in favor of Mr. Benitez as secretary pro tem, please raise your hands. I see 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right?
Probably should read the names.
Yes. Mr. Cook, Mr. Benitez, Mr. Nordstrom, and Ms. Eidelberg. Everybody in favor of Ms. Stephen as president pro tem, or secretary pro tem, please raise your hands. And there are 3. Mr. Fortenberry, Ms. Stephen, Ms. Champagne. So, Mr. Benitez is secretary pro tem. All right. I would like to call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Benitez.
Here. Here, I'm gonna, just for the, so people can hear, I'll just, Mr. Benitez said, here. Mr. Fortenberry? Here. Mr. Cook? Here. Ms. Stephen?
Aye.
Ms. Eidelberg?
Aye.
Mr. Nordstrom? Me? Aye. Ms. Champagne?
Aye. Here. Next, we move on to electing a board president. Do I have any nominations for the board president? Would anyone care to make a motion? Seeing none, I would like to move that Mr. Nordstrom run for board president. Nominate Mr. Nordstrom for board president. Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, I'd ask for a vote. Everybody, please raise your hand if you would like to vote for Mr. Nordstrom.
Again,
It is unanimous, I believe. So Mr. Nordstrom is our new board president. Do you take over or do I continue?
I take over.
Okay. Done.
Okay. We will next move on, and thank you, everybody. Appreciate the support in this role. I'd like to now move to nominations for the position of Vice President of the Board. Do I have any nominations for Vice President?
I nominate Kathy.
Nomination for Kathy Champagne. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Okay. There are being no other nominations, we will still do the formality, but Ms. Champagne will be elected as Vice President. So again, just signify by saying aye or by raising your hand. Okay. Okay. Did you? Okay, so that's unanimous. 7-0 for Ms. Champagne. We will move on to the position of Secretary of the Board. I'd like to entertain nominations for the office of Board Secretary to serve a term of 2 years. Do we have any nominations for Board Secretary?
I nominate myself.
Okay. I nominate Christopher Benitez as Secretary. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Okay. So that being the case, do we, all those in favor of you? Will you? Are you declining?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're withdrawing? Okay. Ms. Stephen is withdrawing as her nomination for secretary, so we will still hold a vote. All those in favor of Mr. Benitez as board secretary, please raise your hands. We have Ms. Eidelberg, Ms. Champagne, Ms. Stephen, myself, Mr. Benitez, Mr. Cook, and Mr. Fortenberry. Okay, thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Benitez. So, the officers have been selected. Thank everybody for the process with having new board members and the shifting that we've had over the last year or so. There's been a lot of activity, and I appreciate everybody's dedication who's been on the board. And for the new board members, we will continue to try and do the good work that we believe we've shown over these last couple of years. Anything else? Okay. Thank you. As for board committees, at least in my prior time as president, I've asked if all the board members would communicate with me separately, either giving me a call or send me an email to let me know what your interests are for board committees, and we will settle that and those assignments at the next meeting. Those committees will include, I'll do it off the top of my head. Those committees include, oh, here they are. Personnel committee, curriculum committee, policy, business bid finance, and long-range planning as formal committees. There's also a need to assign somebody as the Illinois Association of School Boards delegate to the delegate convention. And there's also a need to assign somebody to be our representative to the Special Education District of Lake County Governing Board, CEDAL Governing Board. So if over the next couple of weeks, everybody could share what their interests are, that will help in deciding how to allocate the assignments for board committees. Any questions on that? Okay. Thank you. Moving on. We will move to our superintendent's report, Dr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, President Nordstrom, and congratulations, new board members. Also, board members coming back, congratulations, and thank you for everything you do for this 126. As board president indicated, next month we will provide everyone with the committee assignments, but also the board schedule. So we will talk about that as well, the schedule for meetings for next year. With this board that is focused on equity, empowerment, and excellence, we're particularly proud of the idea of empowerment and excellence, and we have many examples of that. Last month was very, very busy. The end of the year tends to be extremely busy in District 126 as it relates to opportunities for our students. The idea of showcasing, exhibiting, excellence by the work done by the administrators here with the staff, with the faculty. So this month is not it's just another month of many different celebrations, and I am going to start by this very, very special recognition. One of our students, a senior, her name is Sanya Correa. She's here with us, and she's going to join me in a couple minutes. Who is extremely innovative as it relates to computer engineering, looking forward to major in that at the University of Illinois, Urbana. And this came to my office, this AP, side project by one of our students, where innovation is shown relative to the alumni, and an alumni tour. Coding is here, and also interactive tour, bringing this project, bringing her creativity to life. So she'll talk to us about her project. So please join me in bringing forward Sanya Correa.
Good afternoon, guys. My name is Shania Correa, and I'm a senior in Zion Benton. And like was mentioned, this all started as an AP psychology project. We had a unit focused on society and social groups, and so a major part of our unit was how can we, collaborate what we learned in the classroom to something in real life. And I heard that our school recently sent out a survey asking ZB alumni, like, what were you doing, how is life now? We have a lot of responses from Zion Benton graduates as to what they were doing and, what life was like after graduation. And I wanted to make that information, available to underclassmen in a more interactive way. So I decided to create the ZBTHS alumni tour, where underclassmen are able to see the accomplishments ZB graduates have done, and they're also able to maybe see themselves doing similar achievements, if not more. Because I do believe that underclassmen, it's very important that they are uplifted and they are, our next generation. So it is very important that they have people to look up to. And I do hope that later on that we are able to add more ZB graduates, see how successful, how many successful people we can take, that come out of this school. Yeah.
So if we go back, we empower our students. Excellence is Sanya Correa. And we're very proud of you. We're very proud of your teachers. Just want you to know that 721, Mr. Carson is working here. Post-secondary plan. We have been talking about that for many years. So congratulations in your journey. District 126 is here for you. This is home. So with that, we move into other, actually exhibitions of the work. Our music program, our band festival, they continue to produce, extraordinary results. A couple of years ago, we made some investments in that area, and I am so proud to say that those investments are high impact. They're very low cost, and I'm so proud of those of the music and art. Here we're talking about music, and we're also very proud of our students. The idea of culture. This is over at CBE's with one of our teachers. If there's something that students are going to remember, it's not going to be conjugating verbs in Spanish. It will be the experiences that they had in the classrooms with our teachers and our staff. So we try to make high school a great experience for all students. Although content is important, electives are important, most important is those relationships and the fact that we believe in them and we're preparing them to be competitive members of society. So this is something that was shared with me as well, and I was very proud to see that. A couple of days ago, I was invited to a breakfast with our first responders, where Mr. Hernandez and Dr. Bridge, along with our librarian as well, provided students with this opportunity. So Ms. Fersky joined me in that event. So Bonnie and I had a powerful, a great experience as we saw our students interact with first responders. Very proud of the Zion Police, very proud of the Winter Harbor, extremely proud of the Sheriff's Office. I mean, they represented really well. So it was a great moment, for our school and our school community. So here you see the picture of that. We also have our students, in their fair, in their event relative to marijuana and vaping prevention. Students that work hard in providing interactive activities with each other and talking about the negative effects of marijuana and other drugs. So there is a big effort, there's a big push as it relates to this type of work, as we see more and more of this happening in high schools. So we do have some workshops coming forward in the future for our parents, where Mr. Hernandez and Dr. Bridge will be presenting around the idea of prevention as it relates to drugs. So our Multilingual Resource Center, this continues to be an area of pride. We created this center as part of the construction projects last year, and they have done a fantastic, a phenomenal, extraordinary job in that center. And that effort is done by Dr. Liganji, particularly Ms. Mobile, our bilingual coordinator. So I'm very proud of that work. I'm very proud of the fact that we continue to invest, and there's a return on that investment. Our seniors doing community service and not going food pantry. So students are always interested in this type of work of service, which is one of the tenets of our school district. Service is important. Writing awards, this is the English department, an annual poetry slam. So again, here you have our students performing with Mr. Blades. A very successful pancake breakfast with the Kiwanis. This partnership with Kiwanis continues to be better and better and better, and it's very consistent. So we're very, very proud of Dr. Proverchak and former board member Roberts, who continue to work, with us and taking care of us and having us in their mind. So thank you, Gina. Thank you, Chris, and the Kiwanis for the breakfast and for everything you do. Arts, we also have, we're very proud of Allison. She has already received over $300,000 in scholarships, from universities about the incredible, artwork. So music is doing great. Art is also doing some phenomenal work. That's why we're investing in those two areas. You see where it's going? We made those capital investments we have made programmatic investments in those areas with equipment that is better. And we're also doing infrastructure investments. Art and music are important for our students. So there's a deep commitment to those two areas. We also have many of our students, over 90, that is very significant, with a 0 biliteracy. And this is about academic proficiency in 2 languages, multiple languages. So over 90 students participated in this, and very soon we will have, we will be able to celebrate the amount of students who have the seal of biliteracy by the state of Illinois. So that's a huge accomplishment for our students and our language programs. Our civics were in New York. I did send some of this information to you as board members, and you will also see the amount of positive feedback in social media. So our music teacher, along with other teachers in our school, they made a great visit, and that experience was incredible. The amount of activity in Instagram was phenomenal. So students had a great time, and we were proud to be in New York. Our NJROTC, they continue to compete and continue to win championships. As we have indicated before, we don't have any place for trophies. We need a new building. And if we continue supporting them, you'll need 2 more. Again, this is a very, very special program and a very special group of people. Our future leaders of America, our students here over spring break. The great thing about our district is that, we do have spring break, and staff members are supposed to be, on break. Our staff members are working with our students. Weekends too, Saturdays, we have events. This past Saturday I was here, we had over 20 cars, staff members in the parking lot all day, as they were taking students for events in athletics. So again, it's very, very good to see that. And the reason why that's happening is because we have doubled the amount of participation in athletics. So as a result of the increase in participation, there will be more activities. So, and not only that, our students that are participating in athletics, we have this idea of the 3 A's: academics, attendance, help me out here, academic, attendance.
On track.
No, it's 3 A's. So I don't feel that bad because my academic director for that too. So, yeah, so achievement, academics, achievement, attendance, and what's the other A? It's not academics. There's another A, I'll find it. But the idea that our students are coming to school more and that their grades are higher and that there's an increase in participation as it relates to athletics. It's athletics. So that is important for us. Our students coming down singing happy birthday to some of our staff members from our specialized programs. Again, promoting a culture of working together. Artist of the Month, you see some of our students and a sample of their work. So again, congratulations to our programs, Mr. Ski and Mr. Wyden. Here we have our show, and you see some of the examples of the work of our students. And now we go to the legislative update. This is now information from the state. It's not as fun as the work that we do in our district, but we have to talk about it briefly. So we had a meeting with, a representative from the state to look at the FY26 budget outlook, the idea of pension reform, bills and bills and bills, mainly bills in Springfield, this year, and then Vision 2030 update. So this is the budget outlook. So basically what you have here is an estimated revenue of $55.4 billion for education, and estimated expenses of $55.2. So what that means is that the governor has a balanced budget that he proposed, and we understand and we know that that took place February 19th. So now this budget will be examined, it will be looked at by the House and by the Senate, and they will develop their budgets. But what you see in the governor's budget is a huge commitment to education and an increase in evidence-based funding. The presentation will come in a couple minutes, hopefully. But that's what you see. There's a commitment to evidence-based funding. There's a commitment to address the issues with pension reform, this tier 2 system that we do have now. We've been having this for many, many, many years. But that commitment for pension reform comes with a big dollar bill, and the state is not ready to address that completely. So the unions, interest groups, are advocating for pension tier 2 reform, and so are many school districts. So that is a big, you will hear a lot about that in the next couple of years. So pension reform should be big in your legislative work as board members. But also evidence-based funding. So with the budget of the governor increases evidence-based funding by $350 million, of which about $50 million is for tax relief. So they're not saying that, but that about 50 is for the grants that we used to get. We participated in the tax relief grant back with the state. So about 50 is for that, and another $200 million is for evidence-based support. So let's keep an eye on that, because and let's keep supporting the idea of evidence-based funding, because it does help our district tremendously. So that is a commitment that we have now from the governor and his budget, that education is important and that it will be funded appropriately. Perhaps not the way it should be, but much better than what we have seen in previous years, especially before 2017. So there is a slide here that shows how much evidence-based we used to get over the years, and it will show an increase in the governor's budget. So that's important. Any update with the PowerPoint?
It's coming. Back to page.
So the other part in the legislative report that is important for the board and for us to work together on is Vision 2030. We have talked a lot about that, and our strategic plan is aligned to Vision 2030, which again speaks about future focused learning. And there's a couple bills that are important for us. One about dual credit, one about teacher evaluation. You also have the shared accountability and some bills that are important, and predictable funding as well. As you see here, Tier 2 pension reform is very important. And it is going to be a huge topic in the next couple of years in our state. But these are the tenets of the Vision 2030 at the state level, and our strategic plan is aligned to those areas as well. So we understand that future focused learning is important for our district. We understand that shared accountability is also important, from learning to safety, every aspect of what we do. And we also understand that funding is challenging nowadays, from Washington, D.C. to our state to our local communities. So there's we're very conservative, and we're very, very structured in the way in which we do business to ensure that we can continue to provide the services and all of those activities that we showed you a couple minutes ago for our students. So what matters is that what the experiences and the education that we're providing our students, and we need is stable funding. So we'll talk more about that, Jim and I, later. We move into our staff and leadership in our district. So I'm happy to report that Dr. Bridge will be published in a couple days an article about navigating the first year as a female technology director. So that is important. That is important work, and we're proud of your work, Dr. Bridge, and look forward to read the article. And again, this is the type of work that we want to do more and more, where we are showing others that District 126 has the best students, best board, best administration, best teachers. We are nothing but the best. I will be representing the district and myself in Wisconsin this weekend, doing a keynote speech about the voices that build me, honoring the educators who inspire my journey. So that will be a keynote address, perhaps maybe over 500 educators. In addition to that, doing a workshop around transformational leadership in multilingual systems with somebody from the Wisconsin Association of School Administrators. So District 126 will be celebrated in Wisconsin this week. And that's the type of work that we do. I mean, an update on the Facilities Master Plan. Katie is passing the Facilities Master Plan to our new board members. And with the news and with the information that we're getting, it is more and more important that we have a Facilities Master Plan. So a couple months ago, I knew it was important, but based on the news from the federal government, our state challenges, it is key that we have a Facilities Master Plan, our roadmap, to ensure that we fund certain projects, and if there's challenges with funding, we stop. But if there are opportunities, we align those opportunities with the Facilities Master Plan, and we go after the funding that others might leave behind. So it's that simple. So this Facilities Master Plan is only a roadmap to set direction, and in that direction, we might start, we might stop, we might continue. So, and it's all dependent on the funding that we get in the next couple of years. I am very, very optimistic about this Facilities Master Plan. I am very optimistic about the future of education. When others are struggling, thinking, what do we do? I am looking at opportunities. So, regardless of what happens, we gotta provide for our students, and we will be creative, and we are in a position that I know we will be able to be stable, for our district. So, it's overly optimistic, but I know that we're going to be able to address our contractual obligations and provide our students with the best education possible. So this Facilities Master Plan will assist with that, along with our strategic plan. We do have a recognition for 2 board members. Patricia Steven, congratulations, Jerry Nordstrom, by the Illinois Association of School Boards as established board leaders. So thank you for your leadership. And upcoming events, this will be provided to you as a board. The biggest one, as you know, is graduation. So we look forward to that opportunity. And that is one of the, I think, my favorite moment of being superintendent for your district, for my district. We do an excellent job. There's no other district that does it like us. It is so clean, it is so good, it is so inspiring. It's just unbelievable. So we look forward to seeing all of you there. And at the end of the day, members of the public, board members, administration, trust the process, commit to progress, stay focused. Let's continue to go ahead with our goals. Meaningful change takes time, and each step forward brings us closer to our lasting success. And what matters the most is consistency. Being consistent, what has helped us become who we are today, from 90-90-90 to our infrastructure, our projects. I am so proud when I go with board members to dinners and they are asking us at the table, how are you doing it? They're no longer asking us the why, they're asking how. And to be able to say that we have a structured district with excellence in governance, with committees that are working every month very hard to keep our community safe, to keep our community ahead of the game, in making education special. I don't know what other superintendent, I don't know what else to ask for. So it's not about titles, it's not about contracts, It's more about the work that you do and the service that you provide, and how proud I am in being part of you and working with you in representing District 126. So this concludes the superintendent report, and I again thank you for the service. Thank you, new board members, and we will make Zion Benton District 126 the best school district anywhere. We're going there, and we will continue to do that together. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Dr. Rodriguez? All right. Hearing none, we have reports and discussions. We have our principal reports. I see Ms. Felsky standing up, so we get to hear from them this month.
All right. Yeah, I will keep it short and sweet, but welcome to the 2 new board members. Okay. Just going to continue with a little bit of what Dr. Rodriguez started there with my instructional points and operational points. So for first, I just want to say April 15th, we planned for the ACT test. It was the first time we gave that digitally, but I think we provided a very safe, secure, and motivating environment for our kids to take this test. So we're very excited to see how that went. But again, we're going to adapt. We're going to learn more every year as we go, because this was the first year as the ACT. So I remind you of that. But again, thank you to everyone and Dr. DeGangi and all the departments that helped plan the ACT. So that was a big focus this last month. Second focus, I want to continue with what Dr. Rodriguez brought up here, is that we're really making an effort to expand the learning and student engagement opportunities. To name a few, these hands-on experiences for students, we have had field trips, service opportunities, leadership opportunities, guest speakers. These are all aligned to our vision of the future focused learning, that you're going to hear a lot about, right? That's one of our new pillars we'll be focused on. So everything we're doing now is heading in that direction. A lot of these activities are also aligned with our college and career indicators, which is also a sign of readiness for Day 721. That's moving along with our next strategic plan. So a little bit here on field trips that Dr. Rodriguez touched on there. The American Sign Language class went to the North Suburban Special Ed Organization for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing program, and our ZB students were able to actually lead activities with the youngsters, so that was impressive. Sports marketing, a little more exciting here. They get to go to Wrigley Field for a game and engage with the executives there. Incubator will be taking a trip to the M Hub in Chicago for business and leadership opportunities. Leadership, again, lots of things going on, but My Brother's Keeper was a big symposium of multi-school districts that happened just last week with some of our surrounding areas where they got to go to Chicago and congregate and have an awesome time of leadership there. Kiwanis Pancake Breakfast, as you know, food service, donating time. So these are all wonderful opportunities that are going on. Just want to say too, that did a little research. In this year so far, we've had 438 scheduled trips out of Trip Finder. So 100 of those were actually not athletic. So most of these are athletic events that we send kids all around, but 20 of them were NJROTC trips, which leaves 80 opportunities that we've already taken this year where we've sent kids out on different field trips. I've approved everything almost that come our way, so that's an awesome little data on where we've kind of gone so far. As far as operational, I think we've really kept a safe and stable learning environment. That was one of our main goals this year. We have a lot of changes coming up that you approved last month at the board meeting involving cell phones and IDs and dress code and things. So we're really going to get that out there to parents, to the community, to the incoming 8th graders, to all of our current students. We're going to let everyone know kind of what the expectations are so we can make sure that we preserve our teaching and learning time just dedicated to teaching and learning. So our operations are strong. Syntegic, we know that. Thank you, Mr. Hernandez and Dr. Bridge for working with it's going to be a school-wide alert system, but that's going to run pretty smooth after meeting with them. We have a plan to roll that out, so excited about that. Our construction that's happening in the fall and in the summer, we have a plan to roll that out where kids are relocated, our student traffic. So I just want to give you the impression that we are prepared for these things, we're ready, the plans are made, we're rolling them out. So to end with our end of the year events, which Dr. Rodriguez said there, we have a lot of things, but they're planned. So a lot of the awards, activities, programs, scholarship, graduation, finals, planned, ready to roll, and feel rest assured that things should go off, awesome, like usual. So with that, couple pictures here. I know Dr. Rodriguez had them too, but there's some pictures of the My Brother's Keeper Symposium in Chicago, the American Sign Language field trip. I think I see a board member featured in our pancake breakfast this evening. So I think we had, a great time of celebration. So with that, it concludes my report of what we did over the last 4 weeks. Thank you very much. And now we'll bring up Mr. Watson.
Good evening, Board of Education, President Mertzkuhn. We're going to talk about all the exciting things that we've been doing over at Zion Benton East since our last report. Similar to what Ms. Felsky talked about, we are really excited about our April 15th ACT testing. It was a true group effort that created the smooth testing experience that all of our students experienced. Really want to give a big shout out to the Office of Academics. It is, I can't even describe to you the number of hours that it takes when you have a new platform like the ACT, that you have to figure out all the logistics and all the technology that's involved. And Dr. Bridge helped along that way and spent a lot of time with her office. And Mr. Isaacs took care of all the logistics of testing rooms and proctors and making sure all of our teachers are trained. But most importantly, our staff and students. Our staff was incorporated ACT-style questions for many, many weeks, preparing students for this all-important test. Our students came in, we had great attendance that day, they did a great job, they worked their best, and we're looking forward to how that turned out. Over on the right, you can see, we kind of let students know, hey, we had a countdown going since winter break when there was like 100 days before ACT, so we're letting them know about all the things that they need to do all the way until test day. Dr. Rodriguez kind of exhibited our Spanish Heritage Celebration. We had student-led presentations where students brought in a dish highlighting cultural and historical significance of specific Spanish foods. And talked about and celebrated different Spanish heritage and identity. So that was a fun day on April 8th. On March 20th, we had what's called a Bite of Reality simulation hosted by the Great Lakes Credit Union. And this was a hands-on experience for our seniors and a powerful lesson in financial literacy. So if you can think about, you can do a lesson where you're talking about credit scores and budgeting and needing to plan to purchase your first car and where you're going to live. That's one kind of lesson, but you can teach the same thing where you're actually giving a simulation and say, okay, you are, and this was random, I'm going to move up a little bit because I didn't bring my glasses. You are a blogger, you can see up there, and here's your monthly salary. Here's your spouse's occupation, here's your credit score, and now you're going to go around to each station and decide what kind of car are you going to buy. And of course at that station there's a car salesman saying, hey, you want a nice sports car, it's going to cost you this a month. Oh, you don't want to spend that much money? Well, you can have this old used car over here. And if they decided they wanted the best of everything, they quickly realized they have no more money. So it's a hands-on experience. I can say that there was 100% engagement from our seniors about this, learning about powerful financial decisions that they'll soon all be making. On February 26th, we had the National Councils of Supervisors of Mathematics. Nationally renowned past president Steve Lineland came to Zion Benton East and Zion Benton Township High School, talking with teachers, observing teachers in their classroom, providing specific feedback about what he saw and all the great positive work that they do in the classroom, and also provided some professional development. The focus was on deepening students' understanding of math concepts, focusing on meaningful student discourse and use of relevant and motivating examples. Most textbooks, right, they give you an equation and they try to ask you to solve it. And we talked a lot about bringing in examples and actually collecting data on something that interests them so that you make it more motivating for students. And he also gave some recommendations about cumulative review in math, the integration of ACT-style questions, which we've all been working on, and emphasis on depth of understanding. There's a lot of math curriculum, and teachers try to get through all of it, right? Everything is important, but it's also really important to go deep and make sure that students conceptually understand what they learn rather than just going from topic to topic. So these are the kinds of things that were discussed during that professional development opportunity, which was awesome for our teachers. Operationally, we're getting ready for summer. We are hosting again summer school at Zion Benton East. We're really excited about our new library renovation that's happening this summer. They're packing this week. Our library is now closed. We kind of have a mini library for the rest of the year, but we look forward to, after summer, coming back to a beautiful new space with stations and comfortable seating and different media sections. So that's going to be a very exciting addition to our school, as well as a new canopy where our students arrive in the morning so that when it's raining, students aren't getting rained on. You know, we shuffle them in quickly, but it's going to be really nice to have that canopy available to us. We also are spending a lot of focus now that our new handbook is board approved, and making sure that our personal electronic device policy is being implemented with fidelity and consistency. And one thing, I met with my school improvement team, I hear overwhelming, we want consistency. We want to make sure that we're all in this together, that this is a strong effort, that this is not something we're going to kind of like, oh, okay, pay attention to for a couple weeks. We want all to do the same thing and be focused on making sure that this is implemented well, and that all teachers are doing the same thing. So we're spending a couple weeks going really deep. What does that mean? What does it look like? How do we deal with various situations? And we're really spending the time and effort to come together as a staff, and before the end of the school year, we will roll that out to students and their parents. And finally, we continue our celebration of students that do well with their attendance. I show you videos like this. Any Huey Lewis fans out there? Sing along. We really believe in highlighting students that are doing a great job academically. This is a celebration of students who have perfect attendance or near perfect attendance. We show this, try to show a video like this each week. This one's featured Back to the Future. Idea, but we really like to celebrate our students' success. That concludes Zion Benton East principal report. Any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Weiland or for Ms. Wilson?
Well, yes.
Okay, Ms. Champagne.
The ACT. I think it was supposed to be better and give you faster feedback than the SAT. Are you finding that's true?
The practice ACT sessions that we did in September and December, the feedback was immediate. And the ACT, I am aware that we will receive that feedback quicker than the SAT, but I can't speak to exactly when that would be. Dr. DeGangi would better be able to answer that. Does anyone want to know?
I thought it was a couple of weeks. It was like 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, it's more than that. 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, 6 to 8.
Which, to answer your question, it is faster than the paper version, but it is not faster, at least to the electronic version of SAT last year. But I think there's a process to it. But there is the whole part of the writing portion has to be graded as well.
Okay.
That does extend the time that's needed, for the juniors at least.
Right. But you found the feedback good, didn't you?
The feedback from September and December, we were able to, get that feedback. We made connections with students that we know have the potential to grow more than based on their grades and their test scores. Set goals with students. Yeah, that was fantastic data back in September and December. I'm really glad that we did those practice tests and get students in the mindset of what it's like to actually sit down and take a long exam. Like, there's really no other opportunity for students to do that. And so, yeah, that was a great experience for our students and staff.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
So that's still administered by the College Board, right? The ACT, right?
The ACT
No.
is not a College Board. ACT, the SAT is the College Board.
Okay, so anyways, my question is, are you going to get aggregated data for the schools as a whole? Maybe highlight shortcomings maybe within math or something, like, oh, but 30% of the kids missed this one question. What can we do to facilitate, what can we do to build that better in the future?
I've seen several companies that do that. I'm certainly hoping to get those details because this is our first year with the ACT and many, many years. I can't really answer the specifics of that, but happy to get back to you on that.
Sure, awesome.
Yeah, I think the kids were able to create their own ACT like portal too, which will give them some of that specific things for students, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Typically, those assessment companies have what they call an item analysis. We're able to do that, but next month we can bring information about that, which with specifics.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. That brings us to board committee reports. We'll have opportunity to hear updates from 3 board committees. The first is Business Bid Finance, and that will be from me. We met on April 15th, and normally we speak about things at Business Bid Finance that we almost take every single one of those up at the next meeting. This is a little bit of an unusual circumstance, and we're not going to take up as many of those items, at least not right now. But the items that we discussed were contractor payout request for summer 2025, old payout request, furniture cost approvals for phase 3, change in summer 2025 project scope approval, treasurer appointment and bond resolution 2025-2026, clean heavy duty vehicle program update, athletic and school photography services bid award recommendations, audit firm engagement letter, and the Skyward financial system upgrade, in addition to a capital improvements upgrade. So I guess we'll actually be talking about a majority of those here coming up soon. Were there any questions for me? All right. Next item is our I think the next 2 items are going to be from Mr. Benitez. Long Range Planning Committee.
The Long Range Planning Committee met on April 10th, and we talked about the Vision 2030, Pillar 1, Future Focused Learning, Shared Accountability, Predictable Funding, and the Future of Athletics. Any questions?
And if there are no questions on long-range planning, Mr. Benitez also helps lead the Personnel Committee.
Personnel Committee met on April 16th, and we talked about the district vacancies interview cycle, the FY26 budget carousel recommendations, the FY26 staffing plan. We also talked about the Office of Human Resource FY26 vision, and at the end there we talked about the end of the year celebrations, which will be on May 22nd at 11:45. That's it.
Any questions for Mr. Benitez? All right, hearing none, moving on to our new business. Several items with Dr. Wohl. First item being the treasurer bond and appointment of treasurer.
Good evening, Board. President Nordstrom, thank you, and congratulations to our newly elected and re-elected board members. It's great to see you all here, and it's nice to see 7 people seated at the table, so welcome. Glad you've joined us. Treasurer bond and appointment of treasurer. This is an annual event that occurs each year. We need to actually appoint a treasurer on an annual basis. We also need to re-up or renew our treasurer bond. It is a requirement of the state of Illinois that we actually have an insurance bond for our treasurer. They are bonded out at a $10 million level, and that protects us should there be any fraud or breaches. And so this is just an annual event, and my recommendation to Dr. Rodriguez was that we continue with our appointed treasurer, who is Audrey Little, who used to be our business manager before Dr. Wilkinson. She's done an amazing job. I've been in communication with her quite frequently since I took over. Coming in mid-year, learning the role, figuring things out here, it would be my recommendation to Dr. Rodriguez that for at least the next year, for FY26, that we continue on with the arrangement that we have with Ms. Little. So that is what I have on the treasurer bond and the appointment of the treasurer.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to accept the recommendation to approve the appointment of Audrey Little as treasurer, compensation of $9,500, and approve the renewal of the surety bond for the treasurer for the 2025-2026 school year?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Benitez, second by Ms. Champagne. Any questions? Roll call, please. Ms. Champagne? Mr. Benitez? Ms. Stephen? Mr. Fortenberry?
Aye.
Ms. Edelberg?
Aye.
Mr. Cook?
Aye.
And me. Aye. Okay. Next item is, so I scroll, it's a long agenda, there we go. Auditor engagement letter, Dr. Wolf.
Once again, an annual event is required. We must have an independent audit of our books, our finances, and our operational systems. The board has engaged Zion, a fairly local company, to be our independent auditor. They've done a great job for us in the past, and so we need to renew our engagement with them unless the board wants to go in a different direction. And so I have recommended to Dr. Rodriguez that we continue on with our engagement of Zion as our independent auditor for our school district for FY25, which is this current fiscal year.
Okay, do we have a motion to accept the recommendation to approve the letter of engagement with Zion as the district's independent auditor for FY25?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Champagne, second by Ms. Stephen. Any questions? Roll call, please. Mrs. Edelberg.
Aye.
Mr. Fortenberry.
Aye.
Ms. Stephen.
Aye.
Mr. Benitez.
Aye.
Ms. Champagne.
Aye.
Mr. Cook.
Aye.
And me, Mr. Nordstrom. Aye. Okay, next item is Skyward Financial System Conversion.
Yes, this was actually spoken about, and there were several questions about it at the Business and Finance Committee meeting. We are long overdue for an upgrade of our district financial system. And for many, many years, the student information side of things has been with Skyward, and they are currently going through a conversion to Cumulative, which is their new platform. Mr. Carlson has been very involved in that conversion process. Also have had some conversations with some individuals in other districts regarding their recent experiences in converting to Skyward Cumulative, and had some great conversations regarding some of the concerns that they had, things we could learn from them as far as going through the conversion, pitfalls to look for. But it is my recommendation to Dr. Rodriguez and his to the board that we move forward with this conversion process. So the goal would be to start the conversion process as soon as we possibly can, and then we would actually go live with this independently July 1 of 2026, and it will be our new software system for the financial side. It does also include timekeeping. It includes, on the HR side, position control modules. It also basically has one-click state reporting. So they work with the State Board of Education, and instead of having to pull all sorts of reports, meld them together, and then try to make sure that your data is correct, they are state form in the system built. So if your data is good in the system, you press a button and your report is run for the state. So it will save us a tremendous amount of time and man hours, and it will also be much more intuitive. It will be one system to log into for us to do both activity accounting side as well as general education accounting side. Currently, we have to log into 2 different systems in 2 different windows in order to access those 2 sites for our reporting. So I'm very excited about this, and I just actually learned about 20 minutes before I walked into this meeting tonight that we're going to receive another $10,550 off as a discount because of our long-standing relationship with Skyroad, which will bring the price down another $10,550. So very excited about that and looking forward to this partnership. So it is our recommendation that we move forward with this.
Sure. One quick thing before I take it. When we make the motion, should I adjust the dollar figure that's in the item or leave it as is?
I would leave it as a not to exceed amount.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Stevens?
Okay, so on the Skywars, what type of training are we offering to parents?
This particular system is not for parents.
It's not for
No,
parents?
that's the student information side with Mr. Carlson.
Okay, so it's not for parents at all?
No.
Okay.
It is for our employees, so they'll have access to all their records,
Okay.
accounting, and with the new law that was recently passed about having to make sure that we are able to provide pay stubs for former employees, this system will allow us to do that much more efficiently and effectively as well.
Go ahead.
So there's no training for the employees?
For the employees, there will be, yes, absolutely. That's part of the package. There's employee training, there's staff training, there's user training. There are different levels of users, so you have super users who basically can go in and do everything. Then you have administrative users who can go in and they're limited with what they can access. Your employees have their own portal through the system. They can go in and access everything. It's just a very intuitive, clean user interface, not nearly as clunky as what we currently have.
I have a few questions.
Sure.
You said we use a variety of other systems to do the same things currently.
We actually use one system to do the same thing. The problem is we can't get all the information out of it in a clean and concise manner.
Okay. So then my question is, what are we currently paying for that system?
Currently, we are just about $12,000 annually for SDS. This system will cost us $14,069, so it's an increase annually of about $2,069. But we are going to gain back so many man hours and efficiency once this conversion process is done, it will more than pay for itself.
Okay. And you said this will more easily consolidate reports that you have to submit to the state with our student funding and everything? Okay. It can export to XLS instead of...
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
These are my questions. Thank you.
It actually works very, very soon, so you can use CS files, you can export to Excel. It'll interface with just about any system you want, and it's device agnostic, so it'll work on any platform.
Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Board Member?
No, that's it.
Okay. Any other questions from board members? All right. Hearing none. We have a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve the conversion of our financial software system from SDS to Skyward in the amount not to exceed $135,000.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Benitez, second by Ms. Champagne. Any questions? Roll call, please. Mr. Cook?
Aye.
Ms. Champagne?
Aye.
Mr. Benitez? Ms. Stevens?
Aye.
Mr. Fortenberry?
Aye.
Mrs. Eichelberg?
Aye.
Jerry Nordstrom? Yes, aye. Okay. Moving on. Photography bid awards.
So it's always great walking into a district and realizing you have to go out to bid for things, which is a requirement when you want to change vendors. We have had most recently VIP is our photographic service for athletics and athletic events, working with Mr. Nemi's office. And we have been using Life Touch for our school photography yearbooks, photos, as well as our senior portrait sitting sessions. And we normally go out to bid about every 2 to 3 years. It had not been done for 4, so we decided to go out to bid. Unfortunately, we did not have any local companies bid on our bid offering, our request for proposals. We did have VIP bid for both athletics and for school photography. We had Life Touch bid for both, and we had the Barksdale group, otherwise known as Pictures with Class, bid for both services as well. In consultation with athletics, they're very, very pleased with the VIP services, and so the bid was awarded to VIP. For the school photography side of things, we made a change. We had learned that there was some dissatisfaction with Life Touch and the way that things kind of moved forward, the lack of service this last year. And so checked out the references on the Barksdale group, and we made the move to the Barksdale group. Pictures with Class is our recommendation for the school photography bids. There really is no cost to the district when we go out for these service bids. They actually make their money on the packages that they sell. The Barksdale group actually offers much more budget-friendly packages for our parents, and they had many more a la carte items as well. So that was a plus for us. And then the recommendations that we checked on references were stellar for this group. And so we decided we would try them for a year. It is a one-year contract with the Barksdale group. We are recommending it's actually a 4-year contract with VIP because of their long-standing service and history with us, with our athletics. So that's where we are, and if the Barksdale group doesn't work out this year, we'll try somebody else. But for now, we'd like to move in a direction that would hopefully increase and enhance our service experience for our students as well as our families.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve the award of athletic photography services to VIP for the 2025 to 2029 school years and school photography services to the Barksdale group for the 2025-2026 school year?
So moved.
Motion by Ms. Champagne, second by Ms. Stephen. Any questions? Roll call, please. Mr. Benitez. Ms. Stephen.
Aye.
Mr. Fortenberry. Ms. Champagne.
Aye.
Mr. Cook.
Aye.
Mrs. Eidelberg.
Aye.
Mr. Nordstrom. Aye. Well, I'm glad my eyes are doing well tonight.
Thank you, board. Appreciate your time this evening.
Okay. And then the final new business item is our FY26 staffing plan. Ms. Moreno.
Yes, good education, administration, and community members. So this evening, I'm excited to present to you our FY26 staffing plan, where our team conducted a thorough examination of our student registration, course selection trends, and enrollment data to ensure our staffing supports student success across both campuses. In addition to this data, we also incorporated feedback from our FY26 budget carousels, where administrators have the opportunity to evaluate and take a look at their staffing needs, specifically for their offices. So one of the first things that we looked at was student enrollment projections. So as you can see here, we do anticipate a decrease in student enrollment from FY24 to FY25. The impact will not be significant to staffing. However, this shift did give us the opportunity to reimagine certain FTE reallocations to ensure that we continue to support our student and adult learning pathways. Meanwhile, we will continue to ensure that we invest in our human capital. And again, even though we do see a slight decrease in enrollment, the district is committed to ensuring that our programming remains intact, and we are assuring you that we will remain committed to investing in intervention, enrichment, and acceleration efforts. Meaning that we're going to continue to support efforts in MTSS, advisory, and dual credit opportunities for our students. We're also going to continue to invest in our pathways to proficiency, where we're going to continue to build systems of learning for both students and staff with technology as a facilitator. So with all these factors in mind, here I present to you the FY26 staffing recommendation, where we have included some strategic updates to our staffing in order to ensure that we bring in new positions such as a technology integration coach and 2 academic coaches. Again, this is to ensure that we continue to support our instructional goals. With the technology integration coach, that person is going to be able to support our teachers in ensuring that they're utilizing technology to engage student learning and to personalize learning. And then our 2 new academic coaches are going to come in and also provide hands-on support to our teachers to ensure that we enhance instruction and improve student outcomes. You'll also see here that we plan on updating our job description specifically for the positions that you see listed here on the screen on my right side. The reason why we're updating these JDs is because we want to ensure that there's alignment between the job descriptions and the evolving needs of our school district. And relative to operational staffing needs, we're going to be adding a network systems manager, which will be led, or which will be under the Office of Technology. We're also going to add 1 FTE to our custodial staffing through citywide. And the reason for this is that we need to make up for the additional 90,000 square feet that we've added to the building. So we have more space, therefore we need to ensure that our custodial staffing is able to cover that space. And lastly, we also have an additional FTE, which will be district receiving in-house maintenance position. So again, these adjustments and this recommendation is here in order to further support our instructional and operation needs. And finally, our last slide here, we are recommending the FY26, we have a recommendation of rehiring the non-tenure certified staff listed in our memo. So in the memo, you're going to see a list of our non-tenure staff. And we are recommending that we rehire them. Again, reinforcing our STAR, Stay and Succeed commitment to attracting, supporting, and retaining high-quality educators. So in summary, the FY26 staffing recommendation represents a future-focused approach rooted in student needs, instructional priorities, and fiscal responsibility. So that concludes our FY26 staffing presentation. Any questions?
Let me get a motion first, and then we can have any questions. So do I have a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation to approve the 2025-26 staffing recommendations as presented?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Benitez, second by Ms. Champagne. Now, any questions? Mr. Fortenberry.
So I have a few questions regarding your reallocations of full-time employees. You plan to add 2 academic coaches, right? So you're pulling 2 teachers out of the classroom, is what I'm assuming this is going to happen?
It's something that's going to be posted, so it could be internal or external candidates.
So, but if it's a reallocation, are you saying that we're not producing employment from that, correct?
We're not, no, we are reallocating positions. So there were some vacancies that did not have to be filled due to a decrease in student enrollment.
Okay, so then let's move in the future. Next year, enrollment's up. Say we
You said
get-
enrollment is up.
No, not next year, but let's say 2026, 2027, right? Enrollment's up. Now we have to add 2 full-time teachers, right? And we've added 2 academic coaches, which aren't teachers, aren't pulled into the classroom anymore. So now we've increased headcount by 2. Would we, because obviously we can't put them back in that. And that, I guess that's my reticence around these types of things is I suppose, I guess the question is, what is the academic coach going to do besides facilitate, like, teacher learning, right? This is to
support our teachers.
Yes, to support teachers, to give them coaching.
Correct.
But isn't that, in a lot of ways, what administration does? In certain, like,
The academic coaches and the program that we have, they support teachers and students as well. So, but in that situation, because that situation will happen, so enrollment is projected to decrease, but then it's going to increase just a little, and then it's going to decrease 3 years after that. But so we, in the future, we do have data based on census data that shows that enrollment will decrease long term, but we're preparing a 5-year financial plan to address that, so which will be presented to the board in October. But in that situation, in that example that you provided, so what will happen is that we will continue with the academic coaching if that is producing a good result,
Okay.
and add 2 new teachers. Because if enrollment is higher, then we will have additional revenue, and we can afford 2 more teachers. That's essentially what we have.
And we currently have academic coaches at the school, correct?
Yeah, we have 2.
Okay, so then you would be basically double that.
Yeah, we
Oh.
have 4.
Oh, do we have like a cost estimate of what this is gonna cost for the year? Because I mean, obviously, I'm assuming you're opposed to these with like a salary range, right? Like-
It depends, it's a certified position, right, we're going to come in as teacher, so it depends on the level that they're at. Right, so we have a teacher coming in.
We typically use a master's level, so about 65,000 is what we anticipate for budgeting purposes.
Okay.
But it may be a complete wash if we're just taking existing staff and moving them. There would be a salary change for them to move from a certified teaching position to a coaching position. It just depends on who fills it, but that's what we use for budgeting purposes.
Any other questions? Any other questions? No? Okay. Roll call, please. Mr. Cook? Mrs. Eidelberg?
Aye.
Mr. Benitez?
Aye.
Mrs. Stephen?
Aye.
Ms. Champagne?
Aye.
Mr. Fortenberry?
Aye.
Mr. Nordstrom? Aye. Okay, thank you. And I don't think we've ever had this before where the number of other business items is half the number of other business items. So we have 5 other business items, starting with Educator of the Year nominations.
Mr. Nordstrom, if I can ask that we move that item next and bring the item about new direction first.
Absolutely, yes.
As we
So
have,
yeah, no, I would agree, and hopefully nobody disagrees, that we can slide the new directions up into our first item, other business, as we have quite a few guests here associated with that.
Thank you. Thank you for the, thank you for making that happen. So here with us today, we have a community-based organization, Inspire Youth, under the leadership of Mr. Gonzalez, Michael Gonzalez, who worked with us a couple months ago in putting together a grant. And we obtained the grant, and he organized his organization with a evidence-based, research on how to address the needs of our students. So about 2 weeks ago, we invited him to our office, and he came with his staff, and also some students to talk about the progress of this grant. And we do have an interest in making sure that this is successful. And so far, I'm very, very happy with the feedback that I'm getting from staff. I'm also was very happy to see what they presented to the executive administration. So Dr. Perverchak is here with us, and we'll introduce them. But I just want to say that, especially to our students, that what you have is very special, and you are very special. We talked to some of them, especially with my friend here that knows all of the cars that I drive to this one. He asks me every day. Sometimes at one point I didn't know if he was a student or a safety assistant or staff member. That's the hallways. I mean, but I just want you to know, students, that like you, I was in the same situation, from the barrio to the ballroom, from the barrio, from the hood, to being the CEO of this organization. And that's going to be you. So continue believing. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, staff, for everything you do. And I'm just so proud of you. And I know that together we're going to make history. And I look forward to seeing you like this, presenting to this board. or maybe another board. And being the CEO of a company or a successful young man from Zion. So with you at Board of Education, and honored to bring Dr. Pravesha and our partners in Inspire Youth.
Yes, thank you. I don't want to waste any more time other than to bring them up. They have a presentation. I think one or two of these fine young men may also share a little bit about their experience. Talking to Coach Dub a little bit earlier today, not only is there anything that I can say or a presentation that can really exemplify the impact that the program has and the gentlemen that come and speak with the kids, other than the kids sharing that experience. But I do want to bring up the three gentlemen who are kind of running the show, and then I'm just going to turn it over to them. Michael Gonzalez, Idris Joseph, and Ian Whittington. If you guys don't mind coming up, or one of you, however you guys are going to make this happen, I want to turn it over to them and allow you to see the awesomeness that they're putting forth. So you're good.
So I think, first I want to thank you. This is a thankless job that you're doing. So thank you for what you're doing. I'm excited to be here. My name is Idris Joseph. I'm the director of the New Direction program. And I've been with New Inspire Youth and Family Services serving these amazing students behind me. But they've been patiently waiting here. So I want to make sure that I acknowledge them in this. So New Direction on 3, 1, 2, 3. New Direction. Okay, boom. So, and I also want to acknowledge a few other things. As I acknowledge those that we're serving, I want to acknowledge the executive director that's sitting behind them, right there, Mr. Michael Gonzalez. Can y'all clap for him, please? A Zionite that came back to make this happen, and I always want to respect and acknowledge that. In addition, and so sitting in these seats, coming from these seats, saying, hey, you know what, I'm going to come back, I'm going to serve, so I salute you for that. Also want to salute Ian Whittington. He's the site coordinator here. If y'all can make some noise for him. And in addition to that, I'm going to say everybody clap for those that are in this room right now, because without you, something like this wouldn't be possible, so clap for yourself. And I just like the excitement and noise a little bit. It's been a little quiet here. Yeah. So going through the slides, and I want to make it very clear that we're not, New Direction is a program that's non-traditional, right? So our approach is getting to know each student individually, understanding who they are. So we went through quite a bit of a recruitment process to get the students that we have, but there's been such a huge demand among the students to try to get into this program. So I'll go through some of the numbers here. So through our initial launch, if I can go back to that, where am I pointing at? Cool, okay. So we started saying, hey, we want to get 60 students, male students in Zion Benton to start this program out, as we did recruiting interviews, and we had a couple kids come to us because we canvassed a bit. We really started in February running the program, but we had 82 participants come through our door. Out of those 82, 50% of those, we hit 50%, over 50% of our enrollment goal. And so February we had 68 kids participate, which led to a natural reduction. You know, some kids are going to come through the program, see what's going on, maybe not like what they see, or maybe they don't want to be held accountable, because we're in there saying, hey, we're going to be better, and we're going to grow, and we're going to build. And so we have a standard of that, and so some students say, hey, you know what, I want to shy away from that. And so we went from 68 to 51. We're currently looking to fill 9 more slots, and I'll go ahead to this next slide. So like I said earlier, our approach is non-traditional, yet highly effective. We really focus on, like I said, the one-on-one building relationships. We have bi-weekly mentorship sessions with the individual students to check in with grades. One of the biggest things we notice is I've been looking at grades with students, so we look weekly. Half the students that engage in my program say, I've never looked at my grades, or I never look at them. And so for me, that's one of the biggest things that we have to keep in mind when we're looking at progress and looking at these students leveling up, is that, hey, are these students actually getting a moment to sit back and say, hey, somebody's asking me to check on where I'm at, what's going on, because if I don't see what I'm doing, how can I make a path to go forward? In addition to that, I want to salute Coach W, who we talk about what's going on at home with the students. How are you feeling? And we have an approach that's qualitative and quantitative. We want to have a great balance. But when we talk about the numbers, I always make a point to say that there's people behind those numbers. In addition, we actually have started peer-to-peer tutoring sessions. So we've seen that there's some gaps as far as some of the tutoring that's provided in the school. So many students need help. And right now we have a no D or F initiative. So if any student in our program has a D or an F, they're slotted into peer-to-peer tutoring. And then we're reaching out to the academic team here to get them connected with tutors in the building. The picture that you see on the slide right here, there's 25 students out of those 51 that are currently engaged actively in the program that earned their stripes, meaning that they have gone through the process of being considered a part of the program and completing the program requirements. So we had 25 students. Of those 25, I want to say we have 8 of them in the room right now, and 2 of them that are well on their way. I also want to highlight what we're doing at the Inspire Center. So what happens on Monday and Wednesdays, we actually take the students from here over to the Inspire Center after school to partake in a few things. One is that is one-on-one mentorship if they need it. 2 is the peer-to-peer tutoring sessions, which these tutoring sessions are really engaging, or really focused on these students leveling up on a one-on-one basis and not being embarrassed, not feeling like they don't have the support or not feeling alone. We want to get away from the isolation. We want to get away from students not feeling like anybody that looks like them doesn't care about them. And so we're really fighting for that. In addition, we have some sports and academics. We want to take care of the whole student. So we have mental facilitators that can help with anybody that needs counseling. We also have an emotional expert. I call him an emotional expert, Mr. Ian Whittington, to talk to them one-on-one. And then in addition, we want to make sure physically they're where they need to be. And so we provide some strength and conditioning training there as well. In addition, we've now added a design center where they're designing their own gear. If you see that hoodie that young man is holding up is behind me or any of these screens here, that's something that they press on the shirts themselves. As I continue. So looking ahead, we just actually integrated with Zion Benton East, so I'm happy about that. We started there actually, I want to say, about 2 weeks ago we started there. There's been spring break and a couple little breaks here and there, this Easter break that stopped us from really getting a great initiation there at ZBE, but we got 2 days in there so far, so I'm excited about that and what we're doing on that campus as well. And we just want to expand. We want to continue to do what we're doing, and we want to overcome the challenges that we're facing. And to be honest with you, the challenges that we're facing is there's so many kids that need support and that want support. And to be honest with you, I said, man, I don't know if we have the bandwidth to make this happen. Next, let's see here. Key data points. So I want to talk about participation. And as I talk about participation, January we came into the building, but we didn't launch because we wanted to recruit and sit down with the students one-on-one. We had 35 students that showed interest then. By February, when we actually launched, February 3rd, we got a ton of traction. 68 students ended up walking through that door. And now at the end of March, we had a total of 51 that were consistently engaging on a day-to-day basis. By the way, we do see these students, I don't know if you know, but during their lunch periods and advisory periods, they come down to us and we provide mentorship Monday through Wednesday. Thursday, we provide different support, career support, opportunity support, and we show them different possibilities that their lives can take. For example, we brought in a real estate agent. We've also brought in podcasters, successful podcasters. We brought in entrepreneurs, serial entrepreneurs, nonprofit leaders, things of that nature, and just individuals that inspire the kids. We've also brought in some medical professionals. Soon we'll have Rosalind Franklin University coming in with the Men in Black coats to talk to them as well. We have multiple things planned on the schedule, and I'm excited for that. And I'm excited to see this participation go up, to see the progress go up, and we're also, just so you do know, we're also, when I say quantitative, we're looking at the progression that these students are having, grade-wise. And I'll actually use this piece right here. We got a young man by the name of Alan Maldonado. Unfortunately, he's not in the building right now, but Alan actually has come into the program in January. Actually engaged with him. He didn't want to do anything in the building, go to any class. I was seeing him hanging out in the front. I'm like, why are you coming to school, man? So I just had a simple conversation with him. When I talked to him, he had all Fs. Today, right now, he doesn't have any Fs. He has all Cs and Ds. He's not meeting the program. He hasn't met the program requirements as of yet, and the standards as of yet, but he's had significant growth being in the program, and really it's just been somebody checking up on him, and he said it to us, this is his quote, I didn't think I could catch up, but having people check in on me every week gave me the push I needed. So I want to give 2 claps for Alan, y'all, 2 claps. With that being said, I think this is a great time for me to bring up one of the students. And so I'm actually going to bring up Imonte to come on up here. Can y'all clap for him real quick? Let's just talk about his experience with New Direction.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing? My name is Imonte. I'm a senior at Zion Benton. I've been in this program since I was a freshman, and the experience is wonderful. Like I say, they help us with career paths and things like that nature, help us like if we want to get up to high school, keep it like Mr. Joseph said, keep us on track with our grades, things like that really, and then like they just help us with, like I said, they help in so many ways. Like they help us with our grades, like I just said, keeping us on track, keeping us as great people. Like I say, support, help, you know, all of it. My bad.
You didn't know you were going to work on public speaking with.
Yeah, just keeping us on track and just keeping us up to part really, and then you know what I'm saying. That's really it. That's really about it. Just keeping us as great people, great students. You know what I'm saying. Making sure we get in class. And you know what I'm saying, great opportunities, job opportunities they open up for us and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying. Anything you want to go into business and marketing, whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying, they're here to help us. And like I said, I want to thank my staff and teachers that's in that program for, you know what I'm saying, making this happen, and y'all too, making this happen, you know, making this program happen, and you know, I really appreciate it. That's it, really.
Mr. Elijah, come on up.
How's everybody doing today? So I'm a senior at Zion Benton. I've been in this program for a while now. I feel like most of the time people come to the program and only think that they really talk about education and try to give us a second chance. But I feel like most of the time, including as a young man, people don't understand that it's hard to wake up at 7 in the morning and try to, you know, do work. It's tiring. You know, most of the time people don't check for our mental health. We don't have a pat on the back. You know, we don't have a father figure to try to help us. With the program, Mr. Joseph, not just as a father figure to me, but as a partner and as a friend, as a he's helped me, you know, mental wise. And at first, I didn't like school. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty sure not everybody likes doing this job that you do right now, but you do. I don't wish that happened.
Smile.
Make it work, you know. So I say this program, we had programs like this in the past. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't really do nothing for me. When I started out, I didn't have good grades. I cared about playing football and basketball. Now I'm committed to Florida A&M, and I want to, you know, really get into real estate and get into pre-law and really get into business. At first, like I said, without this, I'm not saying without this mentorship, without this program, I wouldn't have tried, but it just gave me an extra boost. So, yeah, maybe when y'all put a little thought into it, not just think about education and making the school look good, but how it helps with mental health. A lot of people are struggling with things, a lot of people don't have a father figure, a lot of people really need it. So, that's the real. Hope you enjoy your day. Thank you for coming out.
Well done.
Yeah, and I wanted to say real quick, yeah, they help us with things we can use outside of school too as well. Things like life skills and stuff like that we use outside of school too. I just wanted to say that real quick. They help us with stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying?
And that concludes our report. Any questions?
Yes, Champagne?
Yes, thank you. Do students stay in this program through their whole stay at their whole educational journey through Zion Benton?
They certainly have the opportunity to. So it's an excellence program, so we're looking to have them meet a standard, but continue to progress past that standard once they meet it. And so it's not a program where we have an exit. The exit will be senior year. You exit, incoming freshmen will then be allowed in the program.
Okay, it sounds like as the grades improve, they're seeing more opportunities for their futures. Is that true?
Absolutely. So throughout their tenure there, so once they meet the requirements, they unlock a plethora of opportunities. But just being in the program, we still expose them, right? So we want to bring them along and say, hey, even though you're not there yet, get in this environment with high performance. And while you're in this environment, we're going to bring these resources in. But the additional resources for you to get to those, you got to meet these requirements. So the additional resources is some want to be great athletes, but they don't have the resources to have the athletic support to do the additional training that most people are doing today. So we provide that for free. We actually got that with Andre White, who's actually a Zionite, one of the top scorers in Lake County history. He's a great trainer. We have the opportunity for them to train with him right now. And so that's an example of that. But the students that do come and do engage and aren't there, the most important thing I'll say is just being in that environment and being held to a standard, but also having love and care. I think that's the biggest thing that we provide. You didn't get to see it right now, but when they come into the room, they come up to us, and it's a big hug we get from each and every young man that comes through the door. And I think, to be honest, I think that really impacts their day. And then we just ask them, how's your grades every single day? We ask them, how's your life every single day? And I think with them actually thinking about it, I think it's been, causing things to move and shift and change.
Okay, one more question.
Yeah.
When the students graduate, do you offer them a safety net if they need someone to talk to?
Absolutely. So one of the biggest things is this is the first time we've implemented this program. So I want to make it a note that one of the things we are providing is coming into the summer, we have summer job opportunities coming up. In addition to those opportunities coming up, we also have the Inspire Center, but we'll have support throughout the summer for students to come in anytime. The biggest thing we also want to look at is we want this program to be a program where we sit back and say, okay, we're tracking data. This has been 2.5 months, right? Probably not even with all the breaks and the time that we had in between, but we want to say 5 years later, how has this impacted your life? 10 years later, how has this impacted your life? So that's definitely something that we're looking at, and we have streamlined support. Some of the students text me right now, probably a little bit too much. I can text over the weekend. But yeah, we absolutely do have our doors open to the students.
So you said they need qualifications. What qualifications are they
So-
have to meet?
So currently, the qualifications, and these will change. We want to make sure students don't feel overwhelmed. So a 2.0 minimum GPA. We have 2 infractions or less in a month, which means, I guess, the dean's trip offices, the trips to the dean's office where they get, some type of disciplinary action. And then 10 or less tardies for the month. And so those are our expectations for students. Once they meet those benchmarks, they earn their stripes. In addition to that, they get held to a higher standard, not just in our program, but in the building. I'm hoping that the teachers look at the students and say, okay, that's a kid in New Direction. I can reach out to the leaders of New Direction, staff of New Direction, and we're going to get these kids together, and we don't have to really do much with them because they got it.
So some of those kids, do they come to you with low standards, and then you guys build them up?
Absolutely. We definitely have students that come to us. Did you want to answer that? Yeah, we absolutely have students that come to us with a standard that may not be the standard that we have, but they come into that room and they really don't have an expectation of why they're in that room and what they're coming to outside of the interview. But the beautiful thing about our program is it's a living program, meaning that what we're doing is shaped around what the students desire. Right? Imagine coming to a room and somebody asks you, hey, what do you want to do? Okay, let's find the resources for it. We'll make it happen. And so that's how we've done the program. I survey the students. We do surveys every few weeks to see, hey, what are you interested in? Did you like what we just did? Do you want to do something else? What are those things that you would like to do? And so we literally run the program based on what they ask us to do as far as professionals to bring in, things of that nature. And that kind of makes them say, whatever standard they came in with, like, hey, I want to meet that standard. You're going to give me whatever I want? Okay, great.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
If I may, board, there are some things that we do here with the program that are not on paper. There's an approach to this that's unwritten. There's no rules. in terms of expectancy. We don't know what we're facing when these guys come down the stairs. All we know is that we're ready. For me, I leave all the paperwork into these guys because that's what they do. Me, myself, I'm hands-on. I want to know how's dad at home. I want to know what's frustrating you at home. I want to know if you have ops in the streets. Because we understand that there's a solution to every problem. For these youngins, they just don't know that. That's what we provide the answers for. So the stuff that you've seen, the hugs that we give them every day, the confidence that we give them every day, we're down there in that room waiting for them to come down those stairs. And we're looking in their eyes and we're looking for the challenge. We want to know what happened with you and mom. We want to know why you're frustrated. They want to know answers. Why mom and dad arguing at home? Why is dad not there? What we do is fill in those gaps so they're less frustrated, so they can focus on being professionals. Because to us, it's a serious deal because if we fail, what's left for them is jail and death. This is what they face every day when they leave this school. Every day they leave this school, they are facing that. So we have to have more answers than history and math, right? We have to have answers and solutions to how they can walk everyday life. And us three, we're from Zion. We all went to this school. Okay, I left my last 2 years and went to Warren. Don't have parents left, right? But I'm a Shiloh guy. I'm a Central guy. I'm a Pierce campus, the last freshman class of Pierce. First sophomore class here at this campus here. I am a Shiloh Park, Herman Park guy. Fishing in the pond, the paddle boats, 4th of July fireworks. I am a Zionite. And these guys need to see that. I'm not in jail. We're here, and they need to see that. So this is the other aspect that we bring that's a little bit different from a lot of other programs because it's not just paper with us, it's personal. Thank you for your time.
Thank
One, a partial comment, but a question. I think we've tried to, whenever we can, at least from our role, provide opportunities, whether it's stuff like buildings and people or connections to programs like yours. So it's one of those things where I don't know, if, you got to be careful when you ask the question if you don't know what the answer is going to be. But is there anything that you've encountered that maybe was a challenge in the startup? Is there anything that we and the administration and your program need to do differently to help make sure you're as successful as you can be? Are there obstacles or things that you've overcome? You don't have to be real specific, but maybe just talk about kind of how you've worked through the speed bumps getting started up.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll say the implementation process was really seamless. We didn't have much pushback. I would say the biggest thing we're looking at is how can we serve this population on a high level because the demand is there. How do we, it's easy for us to get their attention, keep their attention, but to sustain something like this is a three-year grant we're working on. And so in 3 years, what kind of work will be accomplished? I think it'll be leaps and bounds. But how do we sustain this work? And then how do we scale it? Because there's a population we're not serving. There are students I see in the hallway that want to be in the program that I've had to turn away because we're full right now. We have 9 slots now, but after those 9 slots are filled, there's going to be students that still want to be in the program. So how do we scale this? And to be honest with you, I don't have the answer to that right now. I personally don't know how we scale it unless we find additional sources to provide the resources that the students need to support them. Because being an intimate program, we have to touch every student. We have to touch every parent on a personal basis. Like right now, as I'm sitting in the meeting, I'm getting text from my mom who's got 2 boys who lost their father, who they called me this past weekend and the weekend before. Son's having a tantrum because he's saying my father's gone, and I've talked to him on the phone and we had a conversation. I was able to pray with him. Like these type of things are happening, and we have to have the bandwidth to support that. You know what I mean? So that's really the biggest challenge that I see coming up. And so just more support, more resources, needing more staff, things like that. And so we're looking.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I have a question. I'm sorry.
We have been welcomed from day one. I want to say that real fast because to come in the building and know that you guys are dependent on us, for you guys to give confidence in us, and I know it may be unfair because I look over at my buddy Jake, we went to school together. You know, we rock rims together and all that good stuff. And he's not going to just embarrass me in front of everybody. But seriously, I want to say that we appreciate the welcome that we've had. The arms have been open. You guys have gave us the confidence to come down. And in return, we give that same confidence to these boys. Because if you guys don't believe in us, how can we believe in us? You guys know these kids as well as we do and better. So we need your support. We need those eyes. We see Jake and we see Mr. P sitting in the hallway saying, yo, what we got going today? Or you come down and you see us in action. We need that because we give that to these boys and we can continue to grow. So at the end of the day, we need your support, guys. Not just financially and all that good stuff, but morally. Okay? Thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's our time.
Yes, it is. I thank you guys tremendously, and though I know I felt, I'm sorry, do you have another question? I apologize. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Ms. Nadelberg, sorry about that.
Thank you. Go ahead and interject whenever you need to.
I apologize.
As you're growing your program, are you taking like part-time volunteers, male volunteers?
We absolutely are taking volunteers of all sorts. We want to make sure that the young men see men, but we also are not adverse to them seeing women because they need to see women as well. Some young men may have biases towards men, so we want to make sure it's diverse. We actually have a young lady who, she's the pastry chef for the Roof on the Wit, if you know that hotel in Chicago. But she came down here, she came once to just talk to the students. And then she ended up saying, hey, I want to volunteer with you guys. So she came back again, and she's looking forward to coming back and just instilling different principles and values in the young men, and making sure we had a robust group. But we definitely are seeking volunteers, and that's a way we can build capacity. So thank you for that.
One more.
Yeah.
Where is your building in Zion?
It's not. It's actually, it's off Delaney, so it's actually considered Waukegan. If you like in between, was it Wadsworth and York House? Off Delaney. So we got a center, that's where our center is located. So about 8 to 10 minutes.
Oh, you're here all day?
Yeah, our program
Monday
is
through
ran in
Friday?
the building. Yep, Mondays through Thursday. Yep, absolutely.
Then I have a lot of questions.
No, it's okay.
10 or less tardies a month, does that mean coming to school late in the morning, or is that like 2 classes, like all of your classes?
This is generally 2 classes. This is 2 classes. So when students come in the building, we've seen a ton of students getting so many tardies just going class to class, and it doesn't make sense. And so we want to make sure that if you're here, you're actually here doing what you have to do. So we're tracking that. Sometimes students don't necessarily control when they get to school outside of going on the bus. Some students get dropped off by parents. So we want to hold them accountable to things that they 100% are in control of.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
They'll be around, so we'll get them back again, and I appreciate all the feedback from everybody, and I do want to make sure everybody understands, as much as I felt Coach W's passion, there are rules. We're clear about that. There are rules, there are procedures, there are policies, and they're following, but I'm just kidding around. They do a great job, and we're very, very thankful to have all of you gentlemen working with these fine guys here too, and guys, thank you.
Thank you, students. You're not leaving yet. You're coming this way. Let's go circle. Inspire you, Michael, where you at? We have to do a perfect circle. So it was easier to say no. It was easier to say, we have no interest in this when you first approached me about this. It was easier to do nothing, as it is easier to do nothing with many things that we do as a school district. So I thank you, and I thank the leaders, and I thank you all students. Remember, from the hood to being a CEO. In this board meeting today, we have professional board members in HR, in IT, in schools. That's who you want to be. We have the biggest law enforcement officer. We have the sheriff of Lake County. He's shy in a corner. You're driving his vehicles. You're not driving on the back seat. You're driving those vehicles as a detective. You are going to be the next sheriff. That's what you got to go for. So again, this idea of public-private partnerships is important to us. Let's continue with the performance and the participation and what you're doing. We're proud of this work. We're proud of Attendance Matters also with Mr. Lee, so partner with him as well. That is a strong partnership for you. But again, these untraditional ways of doing business are important to us because it is through untraditional ways of doing business that we're going to address all of these untraditional issues, challenges that our students have here inside. So again, I thank you again. Let's continue with the partnership. The students, before you leave, I do have, last time you were in my office, we have some candies over there, some cookies. Grab one before you leave. Miss McKing is looking at me like, here he go again. I'm going to give it all up. I need to lose a couple pounds, Miss McKing. So students, again, congratulations. Be your best. We believe in you. Most importantly, have a great experience and go out there and come back as the next CEO, the next sheriff, the next board president. He ain't going to be there forever. Take that position too. The next superintendent. So thank you, Michael. Thank you. Thank you, students.
2 claps, boys.
Thank you. And you are excused to leave now. You're adjourned. Okay? It says it's just the start, right? It's the start. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Aguilar. Thank you.
Do you want to know that I can stop it? Are you sure? Good. I know, it's good later.
In the interest of time, I'm just going to say for folks, we're just going to keep going. I'm not going to do any kind of a brief intermission, but if anybody needs to excuse themselves, please do so. We're going to try and keep going through the new business item, or the, other business items. So we're back with the Educator of the Year nominations?
Yes.
Hey, Dr. Rodriguez.
Yes, we are very, very proud to announce our Educators of the Year with Lake County. This idea of empowerment and excellence and making sure that all teachers are leaders, all leaders are teachers. When I say teachers, that's a noun that describes every staff member and faculty of this building. So we do have here Sarah Haskey as a classroom high school teacher of the year who will be celebrated on May 7th. So May 7th, you are invited. The ROE, the Regional Office of Education, is hosting an event to celebrate, excellent educators. So it's educators, it's not only teachers. So classroom for of diverse learners, Mark Stave, school administrator. We also get to celebrate administrators, Mr. Andrew Stow, our administrator for college and career and technical education. will be celebrated as well. Colleen Newton with our Office of Student Services. Also in safety, educational service personnel, Mr. Hernandez is recognizing Patricia Vargas. And mental health specialist, student support, Robin Ondo. So that is a sample. That's a sample size of the excellent faculty, staff, and administrators that we have in District 126. So I just wanted you to see the names and invite you to the May 7th event if you're able to attend. It will be for all districts in Lake County. So there will be hundreds of people there. So we're very proud of that, Educator of the Year piece. And our new 5-year strategic plan, Dr. Pareja will talk to us about that. That has been a continuous work in the last couple of months, where we decided to align ourselves with the state in making sure that we are focused on future focused learning, shared accountability, and predictable funding. So, Dr. Pareja?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. I am going to move relatively quickly through this. We've been speaking, kind of sharing updates pretty regularly at board meetings. We spent a lot of time. I know for our new board members, Ms. Eidelberg, Mr. Thunberg, certainly questions during this process, but if you needed an extra dose of let me hear more about this, I'm really curious, you can always reach out to me too. I'd be more than happy to give you a deeper dive and a bigger version if more time is necessary just for you to process this. The point today is for you to have what is the foundation of it as a board. Look through that, continue to develop any questions or concerns, provide feedback to us, and then we're intending to bring the final version, which really is what you're looking at now and what I'm going to briefly go through, to all of you next month for final approval. So there's a little bit of a process here. But as Dr. Rodriguez, what just happened here? We've got delays. I don't know which TV to look at right now. So, but just quickly, like every strategic plan for the school, like there are some tenets to it, right? Our strategic plan has that. We are going to continue in the successes from the last 5 years, hopefully taking the success to a whole nother level. Today, I mean, we're 2 hours in, and all we've been doing is celebrating all the great things and a lot of that is a byproduct of the goals that we set in Mission 2025, our strategic plan. I mean, it is the fruits of our labor. So it's a living document, just like the last one. This one will change. It'll change because either we're accomplishing things or it's not working, and we want our document and we want our commitments to be fluid just the same. But it is also the commitment that you all and the accountability pieces that you all have on us as an administrative team to work with the staff as well. Our mission and vision is going to remain the same as it always has, along with our guiding principles and core beliefs. Again, the substance of those is the same, although I do want to call out once again that we are intentional of adding all members to our school community, in addition to what our language had before, which was really speaking to just students, right? So now it's the entire community that we want to focus on. As Dr. Rodriguez mentioned, it aligns to the Illinois State Board of Education's Vision 2030. Future focused learning, shared accountability, and predictable funding are the 3 pillars we've adopted as well, along with then creating priorities and commitments, and those are outlined here. We have 3 priorities for every pillar. Under each priority, we've identified 3 commitments, and that is outlined all here. It is not a perfect match to the Illinois State Board of Education's priorities and commitments, right? They're looking at, I don't know how many school districts in the state of Illinois. We're just looking at us. But there's lots of alignments to our commitment as well in terms of the work that we're gonna, I guess, commit ourselves to over the next 5 years to, again, bring this district to even higher levels of excellence. And again, I have that, outlined here under future focused learning, shared accountability, and also predictable funding, right? And a lot of what has been presented, there's elements to a lot of the things that we've done today as well. I want to jump, though, probably to more importantly, the indicators of success that we're committing to. 3 of those under each pillar, too. So you see a theme of 3, 3, and 3, just to keep us organized. We are going to stay committed to not only graduating our students, but making sure that they are fully prepared and college and career ready. We have systems in place. Our goal is to tighten those. Our goal is to hold us accountable to making sure that there is documentation that our students succeeded in achieving any number of readiness metrics that deem them either college and or career ready. Continue to implementing best practices for safety and security. That would be a qualitative measure that we will use and report on. And then 90% retention of all of our staff. And Ms. Moreno and the Office of HR has a plan to ensure that happens. Under shared accountability, we want to increase our community partnerships, have mutually beneficial collaboration that is of substance with our foundational districts. Again, that would be more qualitative data that we'll provide as things that we've done to continue to foster the strong relationships that we want to share with in educating our students with our community as a whole, and then also our foundational districts. That's important. And then also staying committed to the metrics of the school report card. I mean, that is the document that deems this district and our 2 high schools worthy of good progress. Are you doing good work and not, or not? We've been commendable for many years now. We need to sustain that, but also systematically continue to strive to that 90% level of attainment within their metrics so that we can be an exemplary district, because we have 2 exemplary high schools, challenging as that may be. And then on the predictable funding side, we want to continue to make sure that we are maintaining the highest bond rating and financial profile possible. Dr. Wohl will continue to make sure through our budgeting processes and auditing processes that we continue those high ratings, along with leveraging any opportunity we can through alternative funding sources. When grants arrive, we want to seize them through the normal budgeting process we have to take advantage when we can to fund the 10-year facilities master plan. There's a reason we invested in that. That should be a part of our accountability as well with this. And then lastly, not only starting a foundation, but hopefully in 5 years having a solid seed to utilize and continue to build off of. Again, as an alternative funding source for things that maybe traditionally our budgeting doesn't allow for, or just to have that extra funding for things that we know we're going to need. Because although the pillar is called predictable funding, it's hard to be predictive, particularly right now in year to year. Many of us know how that works in the funding of public education. So this really is the summary. This is the foundation of what we're going to commit to. And we have invested as an executive cabinet quite a bit of time trying to fine-tune these decisions with the intent of building off of the successes of our previous strategic plan. And this will really drive our work. This will be what we invest in order to bring the district to the next level. So at this point, I think I can take some questions if you have any right now. But also want to, say if there's any deep stuff that we want to get into, please, we can always take that opportunity at some point over the next month to do that. Okay.
Anything specific for Dr. Kowalczyk now? Like you said, otherwise I encourage you to make sure to follow up with him directly if there's something before we take further action on this in the future. Okay?
Okay, excellent. Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you. I appreciate your time. I think I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Wool now.
So we're moving on to capital projects update.
One of my pet peeves is reading people what's on a slide. Any questions? We do meet bi-weekly. We're excited about that, digging into construction drawings and clarifying those right now for the summer projects. We are planning ahead. Within the next month or so, we'll have bid requests go out for our summer 2026 projects because they include some heavy items that will need long lead times with our generators. But other than that, we are well on track. We're excited to get moving and get started. So there you have it.
Any questions?
I think you're.
There's no one. Why you council?
Oh, do I have to do that one too?
The last other business item is FY26 budget carousel update.
So Dr. Ward and I have the, awesome responsibility to, create the conditions for the future as it relates to our budget. So the intent of this update is to provide you with another form. It's a summary of the budget carousel recommendations. So our budget process starts approximately in November, where we start having conversations about the return on the investment, where we start having conversations about the strategic plan. Remember, we don't plan a budget, we budget a plan. And the plan that we budget is a strategic plan. So as the team is creating this strategic plan for the future with those 9, performance key indicators, we have a responsibility to align resources to make sure that those key indicators are successful. So what we have for you here is a summary of the budget carousel process, and cleaner, a better version, easier to understand. The original pieces of information that I showed you was, were more complicated, but as we go and as the time passes, we start to summarize it better, conceptualize it. So the original budget request was $1.2 million. So that was the original. Of course, there's no way that we can fund all of those original requests unless we go into a structural deficit, and that's not the plan. We never want to be there. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we capture the ideas of the executives. Because if it's not this year, it might be the next year or the year after. So if you remember back in the day, we had conversations about an additional counselor over at Zion Benton East. We talked about that for 2-3 years, and then we made it happen. So, and that's really what you want to do. I mean, create those conditions, and in those days, Principal Fersky proposed that, and she didn't get it year 1. I don't think it was even year 2, it was like year 3. But we planned for that, and it was aligned to enrollment. It was aligned to a bigger purpose in the reimagination of Zion East. So here you have the different buckets, that we are that we're utilizing: instructional, operational, programmatic, and the different initiatives that we are bringing to you as a proposed budget. Where in instructional related expenses, we're looking at volunteer staffing, we're looking at a technology integrations coach. So and that is important, because if we mention to you that we were interested in systems of learning for students and staff with technology integration, that's where we're going. We have to make some investments in that area. So in technology, she will have another staff member. Reclassification of our certified staffing, Ms. Moreno talked about that earlier. Increase in the substitution rates, that was approved by the board already. READ 180 program, that's for specialized education programming that we approve. Community outreach and parent engagement, and that is a new office and a more intentional approach in public and private partnerships that we're bringing to the board later today and also next month. Program related, a lot of it is around the idea of extracurriculars, athletics, and also activities. So here you have the different increases and investments that we're making in those areas. And then operational, we did approve and we talk about the cell phones, so the lockers are there. Culture and climate budget, safety enhancements. So a lot of these things that you have here, we have discussed this over time. A Skyward upgrade, which was presented today and approved. Network systems manager, so that's also in the area of technology with Dr. Bridge. And also a receiving maintenance position. And I think in a program related, you might have, or actually in instruction, we also had the other position, oh no, it's not here, it's for citywide cleaning, which Moreno talked about earlier, that we have all of this square footage and we have to adjust our cleaning staffing. So, it's in operations? Yeah. So, of that original request of 1.2, what we are approving is around 444,695. So, and that is aligned with our revenues for next year. And here you see in your right the things that we are approving as a school district for next year. So it looks very similar to the one before, but it just shows you this is approved and these items were added to the proposed budget for the board. Original budget request. That's us talking about ideas and staff members giving ideas to executives, and they come and they meet with me and and we do all of that. And we had a couple meetings. The last meeting was December 16, and then that becomes a proposed budget. So Jim and I get together and we bring a proposed budget to the board. And then in the fall, by October, you have an approved budget. Once you approve the budget for the following year. So that's how it works. Anything you want to add?
No, sir. Got it covered.
And just to make sure it's clear, just so in case anybody here or otherwise listening, when you say approved, because you said that the 445 is approved, meaning the process that you run internally that starts with the big number with a lot of requests has been boiled down to this number, which you are saying then will be presented to us at a future date.
Exactly.
So approved means it's ready to come through you and our CSBO for consideration at our next steps.
Exactly.
Correct.
And in the next couple of months, we have discussion, we have conversations, and the board might make adjustments to it, and we'll go back and we'll make adjustments based on recommendations, based on new learning. So I don't anticipate this to stay the same. It won't stay like that. There will be some changes based on our conversations and needs or opportunities, additional funding, or a decrease in funding. So we have work to do in the next couple months. But it's better, this is a much better process than copy-paste, which is what happens in many places. You copy and you paste and you bring the budget to the board, and then, now this is a proactive, with time, with a lot of discussion, looking at a return on that investment based on that strategic plan. So I'm very proud of the work and how we have, now, if you remember and you go back 4 years ago, it didn't look like this. It was something in Excel. It was something, so you start with something small and you build on that and you make it better and better every year. But it didn't look like this before. You didn't have pie charts, you didn't have a specific thing that we were doing. It was more discussion and it was on a spreadsheet. And then from there, I put it in a PowerPoint. An ugly PowerPoint. And then that second year, Ms. Moreno made the PowerPoint look good. And then from there, we're here now. So, but that's the idea. We budget the strategic plans, and we see our challenges, and based on that, we bring a budget to the board. There have been other years where we had more money to invest. This is a hard year. Next year, if everything stays the same, next year should be better. That is if everything stays the same. Because with our, I always it's corporate, the tax from the state, the state.
CPPRT.
CPPRT, we receive a cut. And it was around 900,000 and some dollars. So that was huge. But those numbers were inflated and numbers that the state didn't plan for. And Matt Wilkinson explained that we had a discussion, but we still have an opportunity to invest a little. Other years we had more money to invest, $1 million, 1.4, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a conservative year, but we're still able to do something. So through staffing changes, reallocation, classifications, and new dollars, we're still able to do something without having to cut staff or cut programs. So there's no reduction in programs or staff, and we're bringing additional resources. But it can be 1.2 million. So it's 445. You might ask a question. It's 445, but Skyward was not included. No, it wasn't. That came after. So Skyward is something that came after our calculations. Our initial budget number and what we planned in October was 350,000. So if you take that 334,000 from 445, it gives us what?
134 from 445 takes you down to what? 11.
311. So I'm still under that what we initially planned for. So Skyward was something that we added because it's needed.
So we were under budget in our planning until we hit Skyward.
Yeah. But it's that would be a great investment for the district that you can save on. But if you have any questions, I'll take any questions you might have. And always, please feel free to text me, call me, one-on-one. If there's a need for a one-on-one meeting, let's talk about how we do it and things that you want to see in the budget for this year. But you can't give me 1.2 million or 1.4 either. So it applies to you as well. We do have to keep it conservative this year and very, very focused.
Right, nothing else for now? Okay, thank you. And assuming there's no other business under other business, just want to briefly, before we go into closed session, thank everybody. It's been a long pre-closed session meeting compared to most. I can not promise, but try to tell our new board members that we will not have 2.5-hour meetings before we go into closed session. Normally it's like an hour, hour and a half, and then we'll have like an hour closed. So we'll try to get you out of here at a reasonable time. And for those of you who are still here, I apologize for that. Also, we will try and keep the rest of our meeting moving when we adjourn to closed session. And also wanted to say thank you for bearing with us in the process earlier. It always feels a little clunky when we're doing our swearing in and our selection of officers and all that kind of stuff, but thank you for your understanding and your grace as we move through that process earlier. All right, closed session. Do I have a motion to go into closed session for consideration of appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, and collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Stevens, second by Ms. Champagne. Any questions? Roll call, please. Ms. Champagne?
Aye.
Mr. Fortenberry?
Aye.
Mr. Benitez? Ms. Steven?
Aye.
Mr. Cook?
Aye.
Mrs. Eidelberg?
Aye.
Mr. Nordstrom? Aye. Thank you. We are moving into closed session.